I get the distinct honor to present the second Udall Award to Story Landis, and I want to just take a couple moments to highlight her leadership. She has been unprecedented in providing leadership in the area of Parkinson's disease and biomedical research. She's been at NIH now, which is just amazing that she's as sane as she seems to be. She's been there since 1995. And in the past 8 years, she's served as the director of the National Institute for Neurological Disease and Stroke, which is a very, very important part of NIH. She oversees a $1.6 billion budget that looks at, the number that was most impressive to me is this is a woman who has responsibility for looking at over 600 diseases. So if you think Congressman Van Hollen's inbox is full, I can't imagine what Stories looks like on a daily basis in terms of all the advocacy and all the calls out and pressure that she gets. What she has done for all of those diseases, and particularly for the Parkinson's community, which we're honoring her tonight, is she has involved and made sure the voice of the patient and the caregiver is at the table when decisions are being made. That is an amazing gift and commitment that you've made to make sure voices are heard. The thing that I really want to say about Story is I went tearing over to her tonight, and I said, you know, what else can I say? Can you give me some dirt? You know, like what kind of novels do you read? Or, you know, just tell me anything. And she looked at me and she said, you know, what I'm most excited about is this is the first time we've honored a scientist with the Udall Award. So I just want to take a moment to just reflect on that for a minute. We tend to give this award to elected individuals, people who are really leading the fight for us in lots of ways. We don't often select and pick out someone who has shown the kind of leadership in the public sector day in and day out, who doesn't get the recognition necessarily that elected people do, who really has committed her life. And she has committed her life to public service, and she's committed her life to science, which right now is getting not the best rap in the world. And yet she keeps doing it, and she leads. And so she said, I'm a scientist. That was her identification. And so it is so proud for me to honor you tonight with the Udall Award, to a scientist and a leader for the work that you've done on behalf of all of us. Thank you.
So I've been to lots of Udall dinners, and I have to say, I think I missed one last year because I was in China, but it really wasn't a good excuse. It never occurred to me as I sat, actually I sat in the back table the first time, and I've slowly worked my way up to the front. But I have to say it never occurred to me that I would actually get to stand up here and say, thank you. I am so incredibly honored. And at some level, I really feel like I've not done nearly enough. We have treatments. We have better treatments than we did a decade ago, but they're still not nearly good enough. They don't slow the disease. We know a lot more about what causes the disease, but we don't know enough to actually stop the disease. So there's a huge amount of work left to do, but I think one of the really important things is over my time as director at NINDS, I and other members of the Institute have worked incredibly hard to reach out to the advocacy groups, the foundations, the patient groups, and patients to try to, as you've heard, engage them in what we're doing and make them, to the extent possible, believe that we are really working as hard as we can with the resources we have to make a difference. Now, I'm incredibly lucky to be the director and to stand up here and receive this award, but this is not just an award for me. This is an award for all the staff at NINDS, all the doctors who work planning what we should be doing for Parkinson's, planning what we should be doing for those other diseases. And there are a number of them in the audience, and I'd like them to stand up so we can recognize them. And because we had the Udall meeting right juxtaposed to this dinner, we also have a lot of the scientists who are in the trenches, in their labs, underpaid, overworked, desperate to know if they're going to get their next grant, working incredibly hard to make a difference for Parkinson's. And if you didn't stand up the first time, stand up now, the Udall people. So I could tell you what every single one of them is doing and why it's important, but I only got 3 minutes, and that's not nearly enough time. So, as I said, I'm incredibly honored. I feel like we're not doing enough, but we're working as hard as we can. And thank you very much for all that you do for the NIH and for us and for Parkinson's patients. Thanks.